좋아. 누발라.
그래서
당연히 가서 단등 신의 두신 것이나 유타기 때문에 마시시나 그러지 살에. 가서 너한테 아버지 제마송.
니바
Jiba.
니바
예.
다나 제바니
양원 지ba. 그러니까
야야, 나가 제바. 네반 나가 제바 야야. 네방아 보니부디 네방아 네바 들어와. 네바 동부들 rello지 네바 나가 제바. also 네바 나가 제바네세 미팅 준비 쇼라 세사. 미팅 준비 쇼라 세사. 다 미팅 신에게 미팅으로 전바 미팅에 만들어지 쇼수나네. 나가 제바서 다 됐으기 요리. 좋아라. 나가 제바서. 미팅 가는 때 전바 때문에 되거로. 전비 미팅 심어도 같이 쇼수나. 나가 제바서. 내가 지금 거래. 아니, 가르쳤나? 띵에질라 지세 저도 치다때 띵에질라 세 띵에질라 지 코슬라 전시지에서 나가 제바 전시를 진사. 대야 어머니 보스 이제 롱보 로도와 미비가와 땡벌라. 제비 다바 디진이사. 미진이 히로 자주용 시로 자주용 자 히바다 사이 조디 농동도 미바데 잼바게다 템부 중고 때 맞으나 이거 말이야 어머니 보때 이제 롱보 로도와스 이제 나히 롱보 신다버지 미바 롱보시 따서 가와데 미바데 가와다 버지야 잼비 타바 니지다 공부하고 공사게 템바데 롱보시 따서 타발 빼자니 로도와 이제 롱보 로도와 미비 가와 템볼라 잼비 타비 니지니 시로 자주 용어라서 자주에 가는 시로 니 직공산다고 다시 답을 흐르는 시다 영화 자세때 요대는 원들이샤 알레다 최대 송샤로서도 니 희게 말로서다 나가 제바.
Okay, so we're now in this section of the instructions on how to cultivate shamatha. And in this section, the first topic is how to abandon the 5 faults. These are the 5 failings that prevent us from cultivating shamatha. And then there are what's called the 8 remedies or remediations which oppose those 5 faults. In other words, get rid of those 5 faults so that one can proceed to cultivate shamatha. So in the last session, we covered the first of the 5 faults, and that was disinterest. Now, disinterest is a type of laziness, and we got the remediations for that were the cultivating the faith and the good qualities of meditative concentration, and when you understand that, then you get the second remediation, which is the yearning and the wishing for that state of perfect single-pointed concentration. And then, based upon that, you get the third, the perseverance in the process that leads to shamatha, perfect concentration. And the fourth one, the mind which is determined to attain the result of perfect one-pointed concentration, which is that state of physical and mental pliancy. So now we come to the second of the faults. The second of these 5 faults which obstruct or prevent the attainment of shamatha And this is forgetting the object of meditation, or the way it's stated here, the way Geshe says it, is forgetting the instructions on the object of meditation. So he explains that the instructions tell us what exactly we are focusing on, what exactly we are visualizing and focusing on one pointedly. And what happens is you can focus on it for a while and then you lose it. You're thinking about something else. You're focusing on something else. Well, that's what's meant by forgetting the precepts or instructions on the visualization. So you have to continually go back to that visualized object. And so here, the quote that Geshe gives is from Bhava Viveka's Madhyamaka Hridaya, the heart of the middle way. And the quote there is four verses, a quatrain, which says that it is necessary to tie the elephant of the mind to the strong pillar of the visualization. And you tie him with the rope of mindfulness. And you train him, that is the elephant, with the hook of circumspection. So here in this quote, the mind is symbolized by a sort of a undisciplined elephant that wanders here and there. That's what the mind is like. And so in meditation, you have to gain control of this wandering elephant or wayward elephant. And you do so by using the visualization, that is the object of the meditation, as a strong pillar, unmovable pillar that you tie the mind to with the rope of mindfulness. And having done that, then you train it with the hook, or it's called an elephant goad. It's a stick with a little sort of sharp point on the end, with a hook that's sort of sharp, and you train the elephant with that to do what you want to do. And that hook is the symbol of this factor of circumspection. So that's what we'll get to here. Well, that's all.
Mila dua mai ta hama chenpo su te konsa ngaba chenpo gaba je shandu teke midus ha jaga wa chi jaga na la chi hine dunde hine chun du ma tuwa chi thama da ba ma hi rago ila mi khon mi te yabu sa te ni de hine dua re se ta so gari ni chu dua dua la palang gi rala mi te mi de ji de du ba ye san du ba chungwa ye to yu kan la kumba mi ten si yu kan la kumba mi ten si jan du sam ka li gun du gis ne cha ra cha na je da ni che ka sta chi na kine du bi se so yi ko la mi na 소소 리정기 힘 치바진 손이 거라 미긴 손이 거 소소 리정기 힘이 받아 치바다 비우다 신라고 군이 지초요 말아 군 손이 거라 미네 소소 리정기 힘이 받아 힘이 다니미 받아 치바 차레스 내가 상한데나 사이네 주고비 치슈여레스 손이 거 군기 힘이 두기는 수고 상한 나는데 지금 사이미 받 지금 지금 거 군도 그러 됐어요.
맞아.
제자다. 소리 지수 좀 다 소리 지내 여러 담바 지내 두이나 소리 지내 사들이. 소리 지수 좀 소리 편에 차이나 뛰노. 지울라마 사 라마 셔저 도바. 지울에 랑 라마 셔저 도바. 랑 자이 라는 거 이미 셔저 도바. 태무 지수사지. 전례부지 태수성. 그래서도와 히 체대서 때 회사지 태서 회사지 다 미분이 디산들에 티 강로도 수바람이 딱 때는 그냥 디그리 나랑 따와 털로 그냥 디그리 해살이나 군데지 태시 해도 보고 중중지 태수지 아니 전례부지 아니 야나 라시르 나는 라시르도 인산 라시르도 하다도 어쩌라봐 라시르도 걸 주순 삼아다 니네 야 가장 가시기 미데 안다 군 디그리스 아 가장 가시기 미데 주진레 주미 차대와 주 미데 주진 주미 차대와 주미 드라군 이거 살이스 주이스 근데 강기장 가지나면 제라니 중이나 제라니 중이 공부지 가르치면서 제라니 시중에 가르 공부하는 제름식에 pension 주진의 수치가 가네 찾아 전부 치거라 자기들이 디 신라미 비히네 두비 신라미 비히네 두주 숨바달라 초진사 신라미니 히네 두주 숨샤세 pension 주진의 자신들이 그 간짜 들다기나 미바다네 공부지 그사 말이 신라미 시중 공부 pension 주진의 수 치바 가네 찾아 전부 틀리사 신라미 비히네 두주 숨바나이 자초제 초그리스现在对主大人出去生活了到主大人出去生活了到是有了生活大山那个这个很多把就是生活到的出不几百也是然后今年的这里啊他今年的这里他过到如今的这里阿些了说把它米上都能容个也是你现在新年今年把它敲对容个也是对吧就少了去但当然去到现在基本上我这的那当去现多买送下了的就这才的好过算了是不是刚才嘛的现在都过去的是全力不是估计呢还上估计呢到估计也不有送上多那是
Can I remind everyone real quickly to mute their phones? Please put your phones on mute.
So here, having given this example of the elephant and using the rope of mindfulness and the hooks of circumspection, then we're told how we do this in practice, how this plays out. So when you meditate, what you're, of course, as we know, you're developing single-pointed concentration. So you need something to put in that single point, something to be the single point of your meditative concentration. So here there follows the discussion of what that object is. And so here we have the instructions on the visualization. And this is what we must avoid losing or forgetting. And we must be mindful of at all times in the meditative practice. So the object of our meditation is secondary. In other words, what that object is secondary. What's primary is that you have one object and you keep the mind focused to that. That is the strong pillar to tie the mind to with your mindfulness, your full attention. So it can be any type of thing. It can be something that's visualized, or it can be an actual physical object. So in many of the non-Buddhist schools of yoga, you have meditative practice that use actual objects, sometimes just simple objects like a stone or a piece of wood or something else, and then they concentrate on that physical object. Then there are those in Tibet, such as even the Bombos who do the two meditative practices, who will use a single letter. Often the preferred letter is the letter Ah. And then these are all different types of physical objects. So the letter Ah would be like painted, or you'd have the actual picture of it in front of you when you meditated. The other way of practicing is to have a purely mental object. So this is why we call it a visualization. It's something you hold in your mind and not with your eyes. This is the preferred way in Buddhist practice, because the exercise is not to train your eye, but to train your mind to focus one-pointedly. So from the very beginning, you start out with a mental object rather than a physical one. However, there are those in Buddhist practice who prefer the sort of the external physical object, and who attain shamatha with that. They're successful with that. But there are certain advantages, which is the reason why the mental object is preferred. So here we have to say, well, what's the ideal object? So in the tradition from the Lord Tsongkhapa, we have the recommendation of using an image of the Lord Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, as our meditative object. And again, it's a visualized one. Of course, it is informed by our seeing pictures or bronze images of the Lord Buddha, so we know exactly what he looks like. But having learned that, then when we do the meditation, we're able to generate the visualization of the Buddha in all of his perfection. And as a, what would you say, as a presence, a living presence in front of us, visualized, and then we hold on to that. And so the advantage, some of the advantages of having the image, the visualized image of the Buddha as our meditative object, are that this close association with the object, if the object is one that is a very virtuous one, and nothing more virtuous than the Lord Buddha, then by holding on to it for a long period of time, with each moment that you're holding on to it, you are gaining merit. The merit of the close association with the most virtuous object, the Buddha. So that's one of the advantages. Another one is that typically when we're training our mind in meditative concentration, we're doing this as part of a larger path which is going to lead us to the attainment of the enlightened state. So that is going to involve us in the practice of the tantras. Now in the tantras, you are doing the generation stage where you need to have a clear appearance of the deity in your mind, and you need to hold that image. So by doing at this point, when we're training our mind in single-pointed concentration, by using an image of the enlightened one, then we are also training ourselves or preparing ourselves for the generation stage tantric practice. Then, just in general, keeping the Buddha in mind is very, very beneficial, because that is the source of all our realizations, attainments, our blessings, our sacred powers. They all come from the Buddha. So just to always have him in mind then is quite advantageous. So the process recommended here is that we visualize our own Lama, and we visualize that he is above the crown of our head, or on the crown of our head. And then from him, from his heart, comes the Lord Buddha Shakyamuni. And Shakyamuni then comes and takes his seat in front of us so that we may meditate on him. And there's various ways you can do this. By taking his seat right in front of your eyes at a certain distance. And the size that we visualize him is said to be about the size of the span of your hand. If you open your hand up, and between the tip of your thumb and the tip of your little finger, then that's the span. So that would be approximately the size that you visualize him up in front of you a certain distance, so you can see him clearly and easily in all of his glorious appearance. Then there are other ways where it's visualized at your heart level or at your navel level. And so those are okay also. But you find the one that is easiest for you, or most compatible with your way of meditating, the level where he sits. That's what's being recommended here, but with the additional instruction that there are many things that you can meditate on, or you can meditate on nothing. That is, on sort of formlessness, and just hold your mind in that state of awareness, undistracted awareness, without taking up another object. So that sort of formlessness becomes your object, and you keep your mind focused on that. So it's sort of like just simply sitting in full undistracted concentration. So that's the way that's done also. And again, the taking up a physical object is one of the alternatives, but the recommended one here is the visualized image of the Lord Buddha. Okay, so that brings us up to date.
Also, 이제부 참아 고그바 매사다 공리시비 니바이 가 고그 마레스 늘시 랑게 센라 강 튜바지라 센 야그 대야 빠데 보우 순테 미바지라 땡시도 이지상 상바땡바자 미바 마부 조발리 옛나무 투바전니 이 툴그레 루두 마레스 히수마타 Gubiko, Miba Chila Jabali, Miba Pina Medusa, Miba Capani, actually, Medusa. Pena Tushin to be said, she Pivana, Member and Lasam. Pena Tushin to said that Tomato members on the Tricola Chica members on he but done and member Bagasaram. That's Tushin to us. They he done member of Dagamato, news to touch and battle with somebody. It's not this good, huh? So he says, she people are member of them. So she done about this and you join them about to Bamu, but do it no it is one. Then Maziba Shini Gubana, need not sit on Sergeant Donatomato. James Suhi, Bama Shiba Subatar, Bama Shito Long and Lord, Sergeant of Jimmy or Jusam. Jason, Shini go to Korea, Niquata, Kalasa, Sergeant Donatomato. Tini, to his Bama Shiba down, we can do this. Lord Dawa, can down under the Gungusuram. So do a tea journey. The la Jama Juba in the Gugusa. Chila Sune, Chila Car, Tachila Sune, that was out as a couple of them. That necessary is no one is going to do Madison. Tabosan. What Tabata? Sharding is Susuchini, Medusa. Tinan Dangaki, Mede G. Jibu, Tan Danga Mede Gargus, G. Josh of a Condabo, Tishaba in Adam. Ya Jean Shaman and Wanda Tabata. Sama Yella Zuni, Abu, Chado Yella Zuni. Yidu Chawatella, Gonsu Shubatella, Passan Kun. Shubali, Lamrim to Batariana, that she could swing swing at the Nutibanogi Mide, Naba Yung, Mide Naba Young Chatuguris, using all the Chatuguris, chat over chat, Ramatum, Mushayamaram, and Chatusim. These semi bit Raba, Chachis on Chatuatuna, Mide and Hemparesa. That is you to me to Santong. Mide the Rabano chair to Chachuna, and Mide never Made, how you are, Santon the Mide little digma of children. Nidamana me person didn't the Padisa Yomaro, give a cigarette. Just a chat on Chachuna, Mide and Hembaresa. They uni show that they on Jambi Universal and Langa Jeva Satin. The little Langa Javani one, Nepang up on the debate of Lily. Never never Langa, Langa Jeva, Langa Jeva. They never do jelly. Ngapa temba the thing good never do it in ngapa temba your temba the thing bit Jima Chubachi Langa says that he never do jellies. Ngapa temba this, the gene ngapa temba de. But I love it, you was one of the temba shooting be meet that target. Temba shooting book in the meeting. To no good busy. Consul temba ten meteji. Just Hinian Duka, Kali Shiva. Quand je suis un meeting, it's not Hini Duka Shiva, you got raw. The hit and batem, get about Temba currently, Temba conscious and deep in Nubula, same Majiban. Tembas in the country is good to be Papa to me with some countries, Papa to me, cutting over country. Temba conscious, Temba carriage looks and deep in Nubula, since a Jeba me, since a Jeba me, Bill Channel. Honey rounds, Kundi, King, Nubushland, since Majebachini. Ne Casa Saint Jeba village, Majibachi will hit this. Hisu Batas, Uji Cheba, Midan Hatun, Naba Yangusa, Uji Cheba, Midan Hatun, Naba Yangur Kunshi, Yangola Kunshi, Yabush Kuni, Chados. You meet that you took it, Mimatun Santo Landgram. The Kunani, Lagmar will dig a cookie. Dipping Nubula, Mibas, and dipping of hand and dipping over the Mibam. Zetaji Cheba meeting, Naba Majiba, Tori Chal. Tan Zetaji Cheba Karis and meeting, Naba Majiba, Tori Chal, good to Shamato. You just an emis, Madame Nicolan, you don't go my love your mother, child, she's the child. Pena, those sisters, seen hungry to go to see how or the no is good. Temba quarter, Temba Tortoise, not to be to understand. Pena to go to the seal, hungry, Temba, no, you get the shit was good. Chili Cheva Karis and me by them. Me by Dilly is the same metro. They me by wrong never said Dilly, general same metro Chevate. Chichi soon then he got it. Chili got soon and that was good. Then I say, young G cut out, persuading Molalo, G cut out on Doto, see Divina, G. That Josh you couldn't see Divina. Then me by Yesa, tell me by the Asian. No city, me by Yesa. Tell me on Zenton, Dingin. Tell us, say me on Zenton, Jingy, that temple is a dish. This 미바데 코나 차와치 니바데 코나 차와치 그러면 나때 잔이 괜다지 가면 좀 말스 다 누이 스미데 데비 누이게 스미데 데비서 이제 미데 데비서 미데 데비서 봐 미데 다데 이코이나 가는데 데비서 바나스 템바 셈바나 니바 숨바 지근이 다디걸 니바 숨바 정말 그거 해온 거랬어 나가 집이 니바 너도 다 이렇게 네바도 내가 지근이 네바다 니바 숨바 지근이 온 거랬어 내가 지무 그바나 마치나 드라메샤 샤풍 그 마세 바탈 전시 들다 응서 그스들 아무반에 리서치 요요니도 또 바타보세 시바디 루마테니 메고 카노히 내가 교화메지 조체도서 다춘데 바 조셔르 미데게 미데 이제 바진 미데 지루지 지리 시바미 바네 이제 세메 토바 시바 지지 손데 그바 예선도 근데 강가 딱 전화지지 린도 가르치 다는 자 마송 가발 시가다 아
맞아.
다네 치바 현도 아미비 치바 다다 눈들 시바게 처음이 봤어야 미바게
맞아.
처음이 봤어야 집이 봐 너무나 저기 미봤어 어떻게 말 숨샤르 네바네 보게 미바지라 댄스도 이제 상반 때마다 미바 공부 조반 너무 좋아서 계속 왔다 문부세 거 미바지라 자네 미바 보나 메루세 페나 주힌 주비세 주힌 비바나 멤버와 단 레스인도 때마지 힘이 구바나 니다 시다 사진 도자마토바 예 주힌 바마시 주다 바마시 로안다 루네 주이다 nemba가 이게 다시 시작도 때바디 지주셔지
Oh yeah.
그만셔지
나 드럼바 슈츠보 요마이.
야야 야야 나 공다 때바디 주셔로 다 틀데 미비 제바 키비 제바 지비 제바 너무나 게 제바 초바송 여러와 드마 지르다 덕스미다 히네구비 미발라 달라레 라리 까차 다지 라라 까차 다와지라 제데 마루바도 미바 카마보아 공구레시 룰스미 미바 예보야 마산에 디그리 산에 마산 이지만 창고 말에 미바 까때와 좀 디그 스도아 랑게 센라 까트바지라 센 야그스 데스무르다 이거데 바네 보게네 얘는 너무 추반조 히사데데 지노지 데바지 숨루지
Okay. So continuing with this, the second fault, which is the loss of mindfulness of the object of meditation. So we continue with the description of that object, and so the text goes through the various types of objects again, that they can be either visualized or something in front of you, and then again making the point that the object itself is not the main thing here. It's that you choose the one object and you stick on it. And then it says that that there are these objects which are meditated on in the recommended in the sutras for various reasons. And so it gives the example of where you are taught to meditate on like 4 different things, like in the sutra where it talks about mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of the feelings, mindfulness of the sort of the what's called setting of the mind, or your mental state, and mindfulness of phenomena, that is phenomena external to the mind, or phenomena that can function as objects of the mind, objects of awareness. Anyway, this is a process of the four things, the four objects of mindfulness, they're called. Well, that's, you have that. You have many other things where you're told in the sutras. That is to say that the Lord Buddha, in his teaching, says, focus on this or be mindful of that. And these are all very important and good things to do, but this really doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about here, which is the single-pointed meditation training that leads to shamatha. So we should not confuse that. We should not think, oh, when I cultivate shamatha here, single-pointed, and sometimes focus on this thing, sometimes on that thing, sometimes on the body, sometimes on the mind, sometimes on phenomena, sometimes on feelings, sometimes on ideas, things like that. If you do that, there's no single-pointed meditation. Then you've really lost the point of this practice. So in this practice, what the Buddha teaches is that you take a single object and you stay on it. You don't get tired of it and then move on to some other object. So you have to take that single object, decide on it, and continue with it over time, never moving on to some other object. Because if you go from object to object, according to Acharya Ashvaghosha, he says always be focused in your meditation using a single object of focus, of meditative focus. If you go and use many different objects in succession, your mind will always be confused and fall into delusion. So the example is given here that it's like making a fire by rubbing two sticks together. If you want to get it hot enough to make a fire, you have to choose your two sticks and rub them continually. You can't keep changing sticks, putting one down, taking up another one, and rub it a little while, then put that down. It'll never get hot enough for a fire. You need to use just the chosen objects and stick with them, work on them until they get hot enough and produce the fire. So in cultivating shamatha, the only way to attain it is to choose that object and meditate on it continually. And so it says 6 months. If you do everything right and are real energetic in your practice, 6 months is plenty of time to attain shamatha. Otherwise, just an average sort of a practice, then maybe take you a year. But you'll never attain it if you get tired of an object and you move on to some other object. Then it's like you're starting over again. And also, in your practice, you have to do it continually during the day and even into the night. Meditating all the time except when you have to get up to eat, go to the bathroom, or rest or sleep for a while. But you can't be doing other things. Other things then inevitably are distracting your mind from the objects of meditation. And so you'll then have to go back and start over again. Start rubbing those sticks together again, warming them up again. So you have to just make it very, very continual and consistent and not taking off a day or two to do something else or go somewhere, or taking a break, anything like that. No, this meditation is to be done continually for your like 6-month retreat or 1-year retreat until you have truly attained shamatha. So then, when you have a meditative session, it's important to have the object at hand, so you don't have to sort of struggle to find your object of meditation. And as it was advised before, in this tradition from the Lord Tsongkhapa, we meditate on the image of the Lord Buddha, Shakyamuni. And so it's very important that our minds are quite familiar with his appearance. And so we're not sort of visualizing something a bit different each time. We really understand his features, his appearance, and for this, it's good you have some chosen image of him. There's many images of the Buddha. And again, you don't want to go from one image, one style to a different style, but have your chosen image of the Buddha. Have memorize it, all these features, so that when you sit in meditation, it's easy to visualize that without looking at any object. You have that in mind, and you can really utilize it as your meditative object. And so then you can practice this mindfulness. In other words, you can hold that object one-pointedly for the duration of your meditative session, and if it keeps slipping from your mind, then you're having trouble with this second fault, the losing the object of meditative concentration, what's called forgetting the instructions. The instructions are to meditate on this specific image and not to allow the mind to wander to any other type of object. So we can understand that when mindfulness is key to holding the mind to its object. So mindfulness is the rope that holds the elephant of the mind to the pillar, and the pillar here is that object of meditation. That the power of your mindfulness, the power of your, you could say your memory, if you like. This is very important because mindfulness keeps the mind on that object from one moment to the next moment, and from that next moment to the subsequent moment. And so it's like having prayer beads in your hand, going from one bead to the next bead. You don't allow your hand to go and do other things. It's going from one bead to the next. So the mind is going from one moment to the next without ever losing that clear appearance of the meditative object. And in this way, you will attain the state of shamatha. So there's some people that have stronger mindfulness than others. So, but you can always train your mindfulness to be stronger, to hold its object more efficiently without losing it. So that's what we do in the meditation practice, in this training. And so then if you ask, well, what's the nature of mindfulness really? The nature of it, we can look at in terms of its function, first of all. Its function is according to a sangha in the Abhidharma Samuccaya, he says that memory functions to keep the mind from losing hold of a specific object. That's its function. So, so mindfulness then keeps the mind on its object, and it's said to have three different aspects to it. First of all, mindfulness identifies its object, distinguishing it from anything else. Having familiarized yourself with your meditative object, then the mindfulness identifies that as your object and does not confuse it with anything else. So this makes it possible to keep the awareness on that object. So the next sort of aspect of mindfulness is its ability to retain whatever it has learned. So it prevents you from forgetting the different aspects of the meditative object, and keeps them clear and vivid. And then this is really like anything that you are mindful of. If you desire some object or some sort of something very strongly, your mind naturally goes to that, and you have no problem keeping some image of that in your mind. Whether this is some food to eat or something else, it keeps your mind on that. So that's natural, and that's motivated, of course, by hunger or something. In this case, we're motivated by our desire to attain the single-pointed meditative concentration, which is the power which allows us to progress on the path and to attain its goal. So that retention is an aspect of mindfulness. Then the other one is that the way it acts, mindfulness acts, is to keep the mind from straying or becoming unfocused, and keeping it on that object. So when you have these aspects of mindfulness, such as that image of the Lord Buddha in front of you, and you holding it clearly, then you are in the meditative state. And if you continue with that, the more you do it, the stronger the mind becomes, the more vivid the object appears, and the less you lose focus on it. The fewer times your mind wanders away from that object. So this is a training, this is a process where with time you get better and better and better at it. Just like rubbing the sticks together, in time they get hotter and hotter and hotter until you have the combustion. So in that example, combustion is when you have that perfect single-pointed meditative concentration called Shamatha, and that's the goal for that. That's all. Oh, let it. So we'll take a 15-minute break here.
And yet he has people that descend. So I was thinking I know, I told him that, but here's the thing. The residents, some of them are on these, they're the simple, whatever it is, the shades after dark.
그 계산이 하는 거.
Because they don't come from.
다 넣어
But I
그렇게
think
되는
it's
거야.
important that we know who's invisible. Because some people don't understand. Because he keeps the shades open.
You know, most of the soil that's made is
现在这算
Ah, good call.
다 단다 신에게 미발에 정부 신에 비도 가리미와 때문에 미 파스 뻔한 지금 말했어 미바 뻔하더니 누구마 신에 두바이나 신에 두 친다보다 나 둘로 신에 두 세계다 사카라이나 전신 야우선나 만져 다 지나 마시 버리다 가세지 바치바이나 나 두고 누구 소요다 대바로 밑에 봐서 뭐 전화드는 누구 사마리 뭐 사편나 주힌 수비다 배양도아 네 니도 시도 사진도 아스마도 바마 셰바 네 그이나 로안다 주수지나 두바티 제메 셰바 자비스 제지요 마스 지라 네 미바지니 보이나네 누수 맞대 아 샤리니 니수죠 들지 천지 춘니 수치나 맞아 왔지 니 그다 가라 사지다 점바도시 모두 봤네 뭐지기는 까지 타기 받는다 두는 그냥 루트가 쓰겠다
Oh, that's a
미사일 아 미발네 미데라 지고 야샤도 갖고 디바 이마이나 두샤베들 간내지 전에 붙이 세워봐라 지 대지 진불 저거다부터 생활 여러 좀 스트레스도 왔더리다 텔라 공수바다 공우진에 때야 샤조지 그래서 라미 뇌도 바다도 미데 나바 용쳐다 라미게 신의 구동 성기 라마게 간다지만 시로 대시와 너에게 미 찾아와질라 공수 그래서 나를 공부하자 그래 내 공수 나서 참 그래 서쇼발리 라미 뇌도 바다 미데 나바 용어 찾주 라마게 시와 너에게 미데 나바 용어 찾주 그래서 디스 미비 다시 라바를 찾는 디스 미바게 다시 라바를 라바를 찾는 데 기지 차 라바요 말 다시 생겨난 아무서도 미 돈도 줘러 왔네 미마 돈 놀 파산도 있는 지 차지도 왔네 되다 이 사업 차요 말달라 다시 생겼어 다시 라바를 찾지도 차두가 주나 미된 해봤다 신의 돈은 미된 해 가보여 살아 너네 봐지고 미된 쇼를 미된 라를 미된 되게 말아 딱 미바들 때는 미된 지 뜻 내도 봐지 미된 내스나니 미된 내 봐서 띵 살다 제 나가 제비 니바데 메서 나가 미된 쇼는 나가 제르 거래 차선 주변에 미된 해버려서 대체인이 되는 쇼하다는 나가 제바서 거래서 뜻은 도와 그래서 맨날 안 하서게 때 희내가 내방하고 내부들이 세우라 내방안 날로서 nanga jibi nebas da tereta nanga jibi ne lug nebat na ko si bakang tarta nanga jibi nebas ti mi de shuna nanga jiru gore nanga jiru gore ote jesne te ba ji sun sharda marwa jare ba
Right.
tenda na da so mo chu hi sari na mi hita 저는 가서 희가 따르지.
Oh yeah. So we have this this second fault that we've gone over now, which is the fault of the loss of, or you could say forgetting. It's a loss of mindfulness with regard to the object. So that has been explained. And the next fault to be covered is the sort of the dual fault of the excitement and what's called sort of laxity. So we have to understand what these mean. When you're holding that object in your meditative focus, and it appears clearly to you, and you remain undistracted, then there are these two faults, or this twofold fault, which can cause you to lose the vivid or clear and stable appearance of your meditative object. So the first one we cover is the lethargy or the dullness, which is where you're concentrating on the object, but your mind starts to get a bit dull, sort of drowsy. It sort of withdraws from the object, withdraws internally, and this is analogous to, or it shares, it's very much like, and it can actually become the process of going to sleep. When you go to sleep, your mind is sort of withdrawing from external stimulations and objects, and it's sort of sinking inwardly. So you become drowsy and forget about the things around you, and the mind sinks inward, and if this continues, you just go to sleep. Well, when you're meditating on the object, you have the same process where the mind is getting lax, and it's relaxing too much, and it's just sort of sinking inwardly and loses the sharp focus on its object. And very soon, if that continues, the object's lost altogether, and you're in a very drowsy, sleepy state, and perhaps you do go to sleep. So this is a process, this is a function of the mind to withdraw from its objects inwardly. So we call that, the word Tsinghua literally is sinking. The mind sinks or just withdraws inwardly. And this can be either subtle or coarse. The coarse, this sort of coarse level of this sinking function is when you just lose the clarity, the sharpness and clarity of your object. It's still there, but you've lost it's like all out of focus and unclear. And then the more subtle one is where you haven't lost the features, or sort of the focus on the visualized object, but the force of your sort of mindfulness has lessened. It's sort of it's slackened, so that the clarity is not there. The vividness is not there. And so it's this subtle sinking of the mind that is really the main obstacle to effective meditation. The loss of the intensity or the clarity of the visualization. So here you do have a firmness, but you lack the focus. And so you have to then reestablish the clarity and vividness of the object. So that's in general what's meant by this sinking away from the object. Then the other one is the excitement, and that's really where the mind is getting interested in other things. So you can have a lot of clarity and vividness with the excitement, but it's the mind has sort of lost interest in the meditative object, and it's gone elsewhere. Now it's very clearly holding some other thought, some other image, some other feeling, and is focusing on that. Something that happened to you during the day, or it's maybe going to happen tomorrow, or something like that. You're just thinking about other things. So that is the term here might be translated as scattering. The mind is scattering, moving off its object, and typically it's going here and there, from one object to another. It's scattering. So those are these two aspects of the third fault. They're the things which cause one to lose the meditative object. And these two must be then reined in and eliminated by their respective, or by their antidotes. So we'll get to that.
나서 다들이 그 나가 제바 샤데 네바니보들이 디 네볼라다 네보들이 제나 템바들이 그나 튀어 라바 존노기 템바 토리 마치바 템바 존야 띵사리 그래서 수게 템바 때 메땡게네 템바 템부이네 신엔둘 하지 그냥 템바 메땡 템부 히다 미케 신엔둘 카운데 사리 템바스나 가르스기나 그디린다 순전데 그디든 근데 봐봐 도미기 제발에 참아가지 그디 그나 안도까지 거래 템바야 그디 템바 가시는 집이 누구라 세지 제밤이 빌리제노스 한네 수순 디샤기 누구 줘라유 들려 아니 마제바지 제밤이 빌리제들라 템바스 그레스 템바 가시는 집이 누구 세지 제밤이 빌리제노스 희숭 왔다와서 그래 희숭 왔다레스네 다나 이지 제바 가리 그래서 이지 제밤이 때 하통 노이 나봐 이거 공시 지금 이지 제발라 가르쳐 미대다 하수 통노게 나봐 통노게 그거 나봐라 영어 밥 공신지 받지 이거 차도하지 보다 디비스 뭐보라 메바지 그랬어 이제 다 집에 가르는 이제 다 집에 미대 나봐 맞이 봐 토리 차와 이제 다 나봐 맞이 봐 찍슈슈 또 토리 좀 하지 그랬어 차와대 빼나 저것도 오지 네 황은하게 정거 저것도 슬래스 칼라 또 맞아 봐 칼라 땡으로 하자 맞아 땡으로 왔다 놓기 레스 말이 진리 쉐바네 미대 이제 샘 맞어 와지 봐대 그 그레스 말이 빼나 저것도 있어 칼라 나가 아니 근데 칼라 땡으로 왔다 놓기 지 그레스 땡바게 제정 그레스 빼나 진리 쉐바 가리 그레스나 미바 리 진리 쉐바 가리 그레스 그 진리 쉐바 가리 그레스 미바 리 라게 미바 가리 미바 디디 제도 샘 맞어 미바 가리 틀베 때 디아마도 디디 파이엔 샘 맞어 네 샘 맞어 시 진리라 가리스나 라게 미바 디디 제 미바 샘 맞어 시 바 진리 따라와라 진리 디디스 네 지어라 단대 지지 손대다 뭐 쳐봐 진리 쳐봐 된도아 내 지지 순대히 그사 내 지지 순대히 그래서 담벨라 내가 영어 지고 다 예진 걸라 수 얘긴 걸라 지고 다보 너도 시디 받더니 미바레스 지고 다보 간다지나 너도 시디 받더 미위라 신디 받네 드네 미바레스네 들라 미완 제변네 따당 징이 들라 세미이 봐 제동 정일이지네 제동 봐 당일이진 제하지 대제바레스다 미와세 대저시 차서를 대바세 당일이지 봐지 자주 뭐 자주 그래서 미바드 코나 쳐봐지 미반에 데코나래 미반 데코나 쳐봐지 뭐 파지 쉬어 말해서 무기 세미데 데비세 무기 세네 미바데 미데데 데비세 비체 니바 숨바 진고니 따데 데비세 비세 미바게 데바게 세네 미바 중고되니 진고 형 거다 걸리죠 진고데 들리 차와래 진고 그냥 형 그래서 다 미바 하마 미바데 데비 일에 되게요 마다 디투바지 대만미가 다탄 대수 중국의 진거를 형 그래서 신내 지금 진거다. 진거에서 중화도 거 봤으니까 형 그래서. 제가 대비 세바나 니바 수바 진거니 중국에서 네바 동불로 니바 나가지 봐. 수바 진거에서 진거니 중국에서. 내가 진거에서 지문에 가르쳐서 지문 거바나 가르쳐서 마시나. 지문도 거바서 마시나 지문 생인데 사다 메샤폰 거 마셔 봤다랬다. 나게 배달을 하지 마서 행거 마셔나 그랬어. 주치 드당에 sabab 그래서 지무 거봐서 다 지무사 가르쳐 들라무바네 리신 지요라 리진 가딩에 지고 사람은 누마르 샤네 요르신 사람에 세니 쿠냐라고 난 루샤네 세 수면서 지무들 지와무 봐서 드레스 신 요르 와니도 도와 좀 따보서 니 시바 드나지 시바데 가들레 시바 가서 디로마테 레스 거 로마테 레스 게메 가야 말에 디로마테 차그레스 드네 세 지고 지하데 게메가 차그레스 말에 교환 이거 말어 이제 yap사입니다. 이제 딜로마테시. 제세 딜로마테나사. 나나 메가 거리가 메가 차는 그래서 그래. 내가 교 미티세 지야 주주. 교가 마가 메 가서 지야 주주 그래서 그래서 그래서. 내가 지 주셔로다. 지도시네. 나는 사마르 그들이 지구게 이사레벨. 아 그라 유지 세번 지리기 세번 전화 세번 손해서 왔대 또 대손 되셔. 나서. 그라 스타다. 대손셔.
Okay, so we should be clear about the difference between the second and the third fault here. The second fault, as has been described, is this loss of mindfulness of the object. It's really where we're forgetting the object, we're losing it. And so this is, you could say, where we have, the mind has become uninterested in its object, and it's thinking about other things. So like if you're really hungry and all you can think about is getting something to eat, then you're not going to lose interest in eating at that point. You're going to keep that as your focus until you get something to eat. You'll do whatever you have to get the food. So here, the mind must remain interested in its object. And as was mentioned before, then in the context of the first fault, which is disinterest, there are the remediations to disinterest. And those have to do really, as was said, having the faith in the good qualities of single-pointed meditation, wanting to attain it, perseverance in the process, and constantly seeking good results of actually. So one has to know all of those things. Then one becomes very interested in the object. Then it's very easy to keep mindful of the object and not lose the grasp on the object. So now to distinguish that second fault from the third fault, In the third fault, you don't lose the object altogether, unless you allow that fault to just continue on and on. Then eventually you're going to lose the object. But in general, when you have mindfulness of the object, there are these two aspects of the third fault, the sinking and the scattering of the mind, which cause us to lose the clarity on that object. Here it's not forgetting about the object, it's just the object no longer is clear, it's no longer vivid, and our attention has really been lost either through the sinking, sort of dullness, drowsiness, or through the becoming very interested in some other object. Or it's like you're sitting there in meditation on your meditative object, but you get bored with it, and your mind sort of strays to other things because they seem to be more interesting. A lot of other things. So that's the scattering. So the faults here in the third fault, it's not forgetting about the object. You're very clear about what the object is, and it can be brought back to sort of a vivid appearance. But in order to bring back that vividness of the appearance, then you have to apply the antidotes to the sinking and the scattering. Awesome.
Awesome. There's a comment. There's 다른 것은 되잖아. 그 딜렌데는 지루지 센데 나지 해서 되잖아. 대충 로지. 다 진화 차라 손님만 주마만 신에 가면도 이 정도 부여로
Oh, that's all. Okay, so now we're leaving a little extra time for questions and answers at this point. So now feel free to ask your questions and get the answers.
You mentioned that instead of an object, we could concentrate on nothing. Is that just sort of sitting in mindfulness, but mindfulness is not directed? I'm wondering if you could clarify on that.
Could you restate that? I'm not quite sure what you're asking.
Geshe Lharam mentioned that instead of having an object, he mentioned at one point that we could focus on nothing, so no object.
Yes.
I'm asking for clarification on that. Is it just sitting in mindfulness?
Yes. Okay, I asked. Geshe Lharam number lot chandigi nangla disongi ore da Hanshin Rinpoche losang chugi geltsen kurangi pecha chikiore geluk luksoki chaga temple Digi Nangla Dzindu Gompa di la Kansigre Mikpa Meba Rapore. This one, Mik. Mikselge Mikbe Yul Yomai in de Songsonge.
Geshe Lharam Ahten Ganden Shartse Chenmo 티 yorwa. Geshe Lharam Ahten Ganden Shartse Chenmo sen. 티 지근데. 티 지근. 된나 자신 Chenmo 티 Senlami bi hini duzu song sha senlami bi mi de yu yin da me ba sen ko la mi de ta this yin do senlami ni hini duzu ge ro sen go da sha de ro sen rang sen da hini du ta hini se de sen mi ba ti de ya de ma de chi ka ye ma ro chi yu le ba mi de du na je na sen di ba de ta this ge sa de ta de ma ro de de ji no ne chung ji no ne chung yu gu ba sa 제가 많이 총하여로 된 거가 배실선 주의팀 수치해봤다. 수치해봤어. 가든 찾아신비 틀리사. 가든 찾아신비 찾아신비 여러 senlami bi hini dusu sunsa senlami bi hini dusu sunsa do senlami bi ijiman yi da go mu dusu tlami bi senlami bi hini dusu sunsa testamento hini dusu sunba tar chochi sa senlami de hini dusu gro 랑 senlami de tapena yin chu ga haro ba ge seng da sa de seng ga de le da 랑 sen seng da sen da de de ro seng da 생을 따와서 또 다시 저기 생을 따와서 생을 따고 사실 그다음에 한도 단들의 순전도 생라민의 힘을 순사스는 또 유지 되네 유지 힘이 돼야 생라민의 루초고로 바람이라고 일단 생을 루초고도 하고 미 가이미바 간차도 하지는 될 때는 여기 바 되는 따네 되게 되게 사마래 미 바다는 돈 안다요 살아 신내 거래 이시바로 이시바 주든 내지 사주 내지 실 동거 사람도 미바타 얻은 거 손으로 왔다 기내도서 이시바 힘은 오버스만 해요 말어 그다요 사람 두사신주 생각 따와다 소충바송도 왔대 두사신주 생각 따와서 생각 따서 하루bat 좀 무여라 니마 좀 생각 따서 무여라 생각 따 그랬으니 막 생각을 따 그랬어 근데 갖고 그랬어 그중 가지고는 또 그랬어 생각 따서 띵지
So, okay, yes. In the text here, it mentions. It's almost like mentioning in passing this when it's giving the many different things that you can focus on for cultivating the single-pointed meditative concentration, like pieces of wood or rocks or letter A or other things, and then it mentions this tradition that within the Gelugpa system that goes back to the Panchen Lama Losang Trigi Gyaltsen, who wrote a text on the Gelugpa Mahamudra, and there he talks about this sort of formless meditation, where your focus is takes up no object, but it remains completely focused, and it remains focused by keeping clear awareness without any certain object, and that means by avoiding all of the faults, so that the mind isn't distracted, it's not sinking, it's not scattering, it's not losing its meditative object, which is sort of, what would you say, formless. In other words, just sitting there being and vividly aware without taking any object. And this is part of this Mahamudra practice, which involves the investigation into the nature of the mind itself, the analysis of the mind, and things like that. So we're not really getting into that, other than at this point. It's almost like that's getting us into another topic. So here it's just mentioned in passing that one can have virtually any object to cultivate meditative concentration, as long as one sticks to that object, and it names all a variety of objects, and it then includes this state of simple meditative focus without a visualized or physical object.
I have a question, Geshe. If your object of meditation is your tantric deity and you're using your visualization of yourself as the deity, generation stage practice has very elaborate visualizations with mandalas and lots of details and so on.
Are you asking a question?
Yeah, I am. Is there something in the
I
background?
really can't hear you. There's
Okay.
all sorts of noise on the line.
Yeah, can someone please mute their phone? We're getting breathing noises on the phone.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, I'll start again. So if you were to use a tantric deity, your as your object of meditation, the generation stage practices often include very elaborate visualizations with mandalas and many deities in them and lots of details. So if you're trying to do shamatha meditation, how would you do this? Would you arise as the deity and then just not think of the mandala, or would you how would you begin a shamatha meditation in this light with yourself as the deity?
Okay. Purangi Driwa Dindre Kapole. Sanga Kurche Tekpa Gikapso. Then guys say today. Fla Yidam La Gomgore. Then Yidam Ki Gomna Di Shine Grupya Ki Gomsa Ki Yul Dindre Yongi Duge. Driwa Didre. Krim Dang Shine Grupya Ki Gomba Di Ni Shiktu Nyambo J Tuki Duge.
Ringa hako sungta. Ta shine singe de tongbo shine gun sen tembo zon sa gun de man na no ndigre. Sen tembo ya tanda ri mo shine sanga ndi mu shya mare. Habotla sai ne ju gun sle shine yon na kam chero. Sen tembo ro. Kazina gun shu de shine mena to si chi lisen shina ge da ma to hen yan gun tu ma ro. Sai na ne ji sanga na ne ji sai ji ro gun gun sai ji gun sai na ba ne 건 나바트가 공부로 돼. 군투데 센템보나 가지고 군투로. 남도 눈에 안디기리 또 기내 눈에 사이 나바 군에 안디기리 다 치요 말했을 때. 남도도 군에 안디기가 다 가지네. 신이지만 무구 무셔 치요 말이다. 무기나 센터 모야 된다 지금 맞도. 지다 신에 거 가서 로생이 봐. 시르바 통화리에서. 이내다 남바 그 정도 생바이나 안 남이 시작을 해서 신네. 이라 시르바다 신에 그거 사된 거 도구로 신에면 사된 거 도요 말. 데비 너무나 샤바지 차리지 두고 말이 누군가 좋아라 신의 그거래 생바 나도 신의 전주 생디어로 손지건 전주 생디선 신의 취샤거래 남 손주 취샤거래 뭐 전주 맞이나 통하게 줄래 남 손주 신이스죠 말 신의네 신의 sense 때문에 된다로 신의 맞더니 hin다게 체 가요 말에 다이나 하이네도 군디 나한테 봤네 상가게 라인에 좀 한다 말에 다시 진이들 군 라인에 좀 군도 대신에 아부 두바 신에 또 군바는 거의 앞으로 진이 군에서 라이지만에 때문에 그러왔다 진인데 니거다 신에 나도 난 니거다
Then Koran yang Driwa Dindre or
나서
and Sanje Chongdende Shakya Tupa.
我咋说？
Kurang Mikyo Yana, Dene Dakye, and Dunke Mayimba Dakye, Drigiduge,
那
Shine, Dene
Ah.
Sangi Chum de
Yo.
Sosorangi, Supo, Gan Chikpa Drapo Dakye, Didrigiyana.
所以说嘛，人家跟嘛，所以说这个嘛，是日本那一个大经典是，这个好跟嘛说，
Ditsigire,
Yani sanki
Sangi
insan
Chum de Dunke Yana.
啊嘞嘞呀好个说，呀，上个那一个，呀，那好个上个那一个，所以说那好个那个那个是的呗，第三，上个那经济注意，当时是公个哇，这个是头发的，对，过年这个有这里，这里上个咋，是头发个让人上过年这个有这哒，没得吃就嘛的，对吧？把空白见了的需要要不就电话要不就的。 차스니 시침도 쿨면 코로나 기지 마 주의치 나면 팀 그래서 다 나와지네 야부 이지래 소리 전된데 공신에 야부로 왔다 내가 공부야 가리나 다니네 다 소리 전데 늘 여봐 수야 야부도 그냥 쿨면 하나 니번 마치 나면 팀 받나 보다 근데 나게 같이 됐지니 야부 만도 다 소리 셔도 공기네 니가 이제 야부래 시지나 소리 다 또 공원에 소리 사실 또 누가 있나 너무 이제 아빠 먹어 소리는 하고 말어 안 되나?
Okay, so the answer here is that when you're cultivating shamatha, again, the object that you choose is not the most important thing. You can have any of a great variety of objects. And there was the recommendation here from Lord Tsongkhapa that we take Buddha Shakyamuni as our object for the reasons that were explained. And having said that, then he describes that you visualize it to be the size of the span of your hand and in front of you, just a little ways in front, either at the level of your eyes or of your heart or your navel even, and went on like that. But there's also no reason, if you're involved with, you have some understanding of the generation stage and the self-generation, there's no reason why you can't have Lord Shakyamuni come and merge into your own body and visualize the perfect union of yourself with Buddha Shakyamuni, and then you're still visualizing Buddha Shakyamuni, but now that is yourself. That's fine. The point of shamatha practice is to have a clear object, an object which is clearly and vividly visualized and which is easy for you to hold continually. And continually here means for at least 6 months. So you want an object which is serviceable for that long period of time. It's not so complex that you get distracted by its complexity and you have trouble visualizing certain features of it and things like that. So with that in mind, you choose your own object, and it can be the Buddha, and the Buddha can be identified with yourself in this sense of the generation stage tantra. Or if you're involved in some generation stage practice and you have a yidam, then you can use that yidam instead of the Buddha Shakyamuni and visualize it again either in front of you, or if you do the self-generation, you can visualize in that way. But just keep in mind always that the important thing is having the clear and vivid appearance of your object, whatever it is, and not be in any way distracted by any other factors or any other activities.
I have a question. If the object is not important, I'm thinking that perhaps in some way it is. Because if you are visualizing the Buddha, he's also visualizing you. He becomes real. Therefore, I feel that if you visualize a mental object such as the Buddha, then you are taking on that quality. So you would be getting a 2 for 1. Not only strength of mind, but strength of character and transformation. Can you speak to that concept?
Sangye chomdende mikyo yana the nidila penyon kashe yubadra. The
La.
penyon say
미바 언제 보내서 봐. 미팽 가시요 본다.
손전에 구나
미바 조에. 지금 미바.
손이 꼭 미미게 됐다데. 네.
penyon kashe yore.
야야.
Sonam sagire.
뭐래?
Then Jinla Bragade, and Zindre Kashe, Penyon Kashe Yore.
몰라서.
Then da do, dan shing, dan Dindre Chik, Yunadila Penyon, Dindre Yomai, Jinla dan Sunam Saya, Shudra Yomai, Dindre Rebe.
레다레다. 손이 꼭 구기나 편여로 수나사그로 와.
So that it.
뜻가는 레다.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the as was stated, there are reasons why the Lord Tsongkhapa recommends us use the Buddha Shakyamuni as our meditative object, because there are various benefits that come from that don't come from visualizing just miscellaneous objects around the house, pieces of wood or stone or something else. If it's the Buddha, then through that association with the Buddha, you build up merit and you get the blessings of the Buddha, and you get sort of a head start in your generation stage practices. So there are clear benefits to that, and that is why Geshe Tsongkhapa is recommending it.
Thank you.
One question. I was just wondering if Geshe could, before we leave, maybe comment a little bit on the remedies for mental laxity and mental excitement.
I'm sorry, was there a question asked?
Yes, remedies for laxness
And excitement.
and excitement.
Oh, okay. Da Chingwa dan Gurba ki Nyembo, the Chingwa dan Gurba ki Dokshok of Gari Gari Ore, the Sanyan of Sindra Jema di la Sungi and Badra.
뭐래라. 지마다 거박에 딱 출래. 전 시즌이부터 담바도 시즌이부터 시즌 잘하지 담바 공그래.
Ah, that is.
지마 거반이부터 세 지마도 시즌 잘하지 지마 해봤대. 지마 해봐 지마 엄마 좀 담바 끼고 전 시즌이부터 그거 다 노출하고 됐다. 다 손을 내거라. 신내가
Got
담바
it. Okay, so this is what we'll go into in the next session. But just very briefly, we can say, going back to that example of the elephant, the wayward elephant, where Bhagavad-Viveka in the Madhyamaka Hridaya has said that you use you tie the wandering elephant of the mind to the strong pillar of your visualization object, and use the rope of mindfulness and the sort of the hook of circumspection the rope of mindfulness is what ties him to the pillar, and then the hook of circumspection is what allows us to make the adjustments and the training of that elephant so that it behaves properly. So those are the antidotes to the sinking and the scattering. So those two things, mindfulness and circumspection, are the two antidotes to sinking and scattering. And so that's what we'll get into in the next session.
Should we say the dedication prayers?